Sergio Mora ripping Brian Norman. He can make, $2 million, and he should take the risk. He shouldn't go fight Jin Saki. And I think he can still fight Jin Saki and still fight Boots next. I don't see why not. If he go overseas and fight Jin Saki, and it's quick. I guess going overseas it could be quick, June or July, and then come back at the end of the year and fight Boots. I mean, yeah. But I guess you could risk injury. They putting a lot of pressure on Norman to fight Boots. I think, they should try to do Norman and Barrios, and then Boots can fight as mandatory and fight the winner. But the problem with that is, if the winner of Boots and Barrios, they not gonna come to Atlantic City and come to Philadelphia to fight Boots. And that's one of the things I agree with the Normans on. Why do I gotta come unify to Philly? I'm not fighting Mayweather. I'm not fighting Canelo. Or I gotta come across the pond. I'm not fighting Anthony Joshua. Jaron Boots Ennis is for me personally, I want more than my market value if I'm coming to Philly to fight Boots. It does nothing for my career to come to Philly and fight Boots, fanfare wise. Like, what am I coming to Philly for? Or Atlantic City? Why? Why am I coming in his backyard? I bring a belt. He need me. I'm not coming. Why we can't do this in Vegas, or we can't do this somewhere neutral? If we gotta come to Philly, then I'm gonna leave a little. In my Frank Martin voice, I'm gonna leave a little. But it's funny how the Zone had these boxing commentators, and they always talking about what another motherfucker should do. He should do this. No, how about you tell Canelo get in the ring to beat that? Start with your own fighters. Start with your own fighters. They're always talking about what somebody else should or shouldn't do that's not even affiliated with the Zone. I would like to see Norman fight Boots, but guess what? Norman 23 years old. He ain't gotta be on Boots' timeline. I'm just being real. Old Boots shit. What I'm getting in the ring with him for? I'm just being honest. What I'm getting in the ring with him for? I just want to know what I'm getting in the ring with him for. In his backyard? I think I'm 23. I got all the time in the world. So if you want me to come to this backyard, make it worth my while. That's what I say. If I got to come to his backyard, make it worth my while. That's all I be saying. Make it worth my while to come out there. But yeah, it's a good fight for the sport of boxing, but I just don't understand why they so hell-bent on it being in Philly. And maybe they say that's the only way they can flip a profit. And if that's why, that's understandable. So yeah, I don't really understand. But if that's the only way you can flip a profit, I get it. That's all they gotta say. Boots don't sell nowhere else. We gotta fight in Philly to make a profit. And that's what they pretty much saying by making people come to Philly, that Boots don't sell nowhere else. So when Eddie is saying Eddie invested all that money in his guarantee in his contract, they know taking Boots is a risk, taking them to Texas, Cali, Vegas, even New York City. He don't sell there. I'm telling you. That's when people talking about, oh man, people afraid of Boots. He don't bring no money. He don't bring no money to the table for it. Because nobody know who Boots is. I keep telling y'all that. Them niggas in Philly can sit here and act like he the best thing since a Philly cheesesteak or a Philly shell defense, but he not. Because if he was an attraction, Vegas would be beating down his door for him to fight in Vegas. They not. Venues would be beating down the door for him to fight in their venues, and they not. And that's just the God honest truth. So it's about expanding this brand, and they want to say, okay, I can buy all the money I guaranteed him that he didn't probably deserve. we gotta make that money back somehow. You know, and they gotta make that money back by fighting in Philly. I'm telling you. He got the talent, but he ain't got the fan base. I'll tell you that right now. But that usually comes, and you know, that's not because of Eddie, that's because of PBC. Pussy bitch chumps. They didn't do a good job of Showtime, you know, showcasing none of their fighters. You can't put guys on a closed network and expect them to sell. It just don't work that way. Even on the zone, he not maximizing his potential on the zone because nobody watched the zone. I'm telling you that right now. I don't watch the zone. I watch boxing. Just keeping it a bean. But yeah, I mean, that might be the best career move for Norman. I mean, go fight Jin Saki in Japan. If they paying you going over there, and Jamil from YSM Media made a great point. He said you go over to Japan, them fighters are totally different when they fight in Japan. Ryota Murata, Rob Brandt handled him pretty easy in America, and then he went over to like a beast. They look like totally different animals when they fight them. Asian fighters fight in Japan and China. They look totally different. He ain't lying about that one. So you taking that risk and going over there, you know, as a champion, that's already a red flag. Take on the risk going over there. But if the money right, you know, we gonna take penitentiary chances to get that bag. A lot of people. So you can't even get mad at him. But I will say, if there's a fight that justifies him fighting before Boots, is Barrios. That's the fight. But also, they allow, you know, Norman to get Barrios, then they lose some negotiation leverage. So you got to understand that too. So I don't know what Barrios got going on. You know, that's my opinion. I don't know what he got going on. But Norman and Barrios should be the fight. But let's scratch Barrios out of there. You know, should Norman fight him or Jin Saki? Norman fight Jin Saki or Boots next? He should fight Boots. Because your daddy can't throw all them darts, them verbal darts, and then y'all don't do it. But my thing is, it should be somewhere neutral. Why do Boots continue to have the comfort of home? I mean, he's done nothing to deserve that. Hit the road, and it's better off for him hitting this road and expanding his coverage, expanding his popularity in other places. But do I think Boots will win the fight? Yeah, I think Boots will win the fight. I think Norman got the style, but the experience, I'm not sure. But the daddy can't talk all that shit. They try to maximize their dollar amount. And you got to understand, too, from their point of view, that I ain't on Boots' timeline. That's them. They're not on Boots' timeline. I ain't gonna lie, this shit good. They not on Boots' timeline. So I do think people need to realize that Boots of them is on their timeline. They 23 years old. I ain't fuck I'm rushing for it. But it's a fight that I think we all would love to see. So I think it should happen next. But Eddie need to be reasonable on the venue. But financially, if this is Eddie's projections, you know, they only can move units in Philly then or in that area, then from a financial aspect, that is what it is. You know, unless they want to get Turkey involved. So, you know, I think it's good for the culture. My Charlo boy's good for the culture. You know, Young Gun and Norman, Boots. You know, people talking about Boots got some defensive holes. I mean, anytime somebody offensive, they gonna get clipped. I keep telling y'all that. They're saying this shit about Virgil. You're gonna get clipped. You're gonna get clipped. It come with the territory. You know, a lot of guys don't have the patience that Shakur Stevenson have to be a defensive fighter like that. It's the patience. And then you gotta see the opening, you gotta attack. A lot of guys is either they too defensive and they forget about the offense. They too offensive, don't remember the defense. You know, it's rare that you get somebody that's the perfect mix of both. It's hard to find that perfect mix. You know, Mayweather had a nice mix. Even when he was Money Mayweather, people they talked about it. But you know, he seen an opening, he capitalized on it. You know, say what you say about Shakur, even in that artichoke fight, spinach artichoke fight, he moved his hands in that fight. I heard Coach Malachi said that Shakur might punch harder than Devin. No, he don't. I can disagree with Coach on that. Devin is a way better puncher than Shakur. I give Devin that. Shakur ain't dropped the nigga since She Dropped came out. But yeah, that's all I had to say, man. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Financially, want to support the channel, Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo